Good evening. This is the case of the math class students versus the competitive high school. Are both sides ready?
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
Prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Make your opening statements.
This is a simple trial, Your Honor. The students of high school class of 2018 are accusing their high school sports and classes of being too competitive. Competition is proven to have a negative effect on the performance of students. I've done a lot of research preparing for this trial and have data to prove my argument. This is not just a trial between the high school and the students, but an issue that involves the entire nation. Competition is found everywhere, from schooling to sports to getting a job, and this trial will prove it is a negative effect. Competition is unhealthy, and the math class of IA should reduce the competition in their classes.
Defense, your opening statement. Your Honor, I've also done much research and found that competition is healthy and necessary for the performance of students. My research definitively proves that competition is necessary and helps improve students' performance in high school and college.
Prosecution, make your first argument.
I would like to submit Source A into the court record. According to bps.org, I have found a report on data recording the amount of concussions in the NFL. According to this graph, there were 161 players who got a concussion in 2012. There's a staggering amount of concussions in the NFL that have increased by 53 in 2013 since 2009. Concussions are serious injuries which can lead to complications later in life, and our competitions are causing these injuries. Concussions aren't just a random injury, but they can be caused from minor injuries building up. In week 1 of 2012, there were 10 reported concussions. In week 12, there were 20. This increase isn't a coincidence. It is because of the injuries sustained from players throughout the season. There isn't only a shocking amount of injuries, but 1/3 of them are left off of the official report. In 2013, only 152 out of all 288 concussions were put on the official report. These numbers are too high. Competition is dangerous and harmful to those involved.
Very interesting. The defense may now cross-examine the evidence.
Your Honor, this data does not show any correlation between competition and physical injury. These variables are based on the number of concussions based on time, not based on competitiveness. This data only represents that football is a dangerous sport, but does not speak for all competitions. It does not prove that all competitions are bad, because several sports have low risk for injuries, such as swimming or volleyball. You wouldn't be afraid of getting concussed at a chess competition, would you?
No, I would not.
I have checked out the source and the prosecution has presented. It is written by Jason M. Burlow, a reporter who covered the NFL concussion crisis on PBS.org. The source provides many graphs using the data from NFL and their own study to cover this concussion crisis and the reasons behind it.
So, is it reliable?
I would consider it a reliable source, but it doesn't prove your argument. The data is centered around a specific concussion watch on the NFL and provides many takeaways, such as the players who get the most concussions and the increased amount of injuries after new rules were made, but it doesn't talk about the correlation between competitiveness and injury. It's a good source to analyze the NFL, but nothing more. It cannot be applied as a generalization to all physical or non-physical competitions. Cross-examine finished, Your Honor.
The defendant may now present the first argument.
I would like to present source B from blog.prepscholar.com into the court records. For my data, I found the most competitive colleges. This is determined by the acceptance rate to get into the colleges who accept the least amount of applicants being the most competitive. Stanford University has the lowest acceptance rate of only 5.1% of all applicants. The average GPA for the school is 4.18. Princeton University, with only a 7.3 acceptance rate, has a 3.9 average GPA. Competitive colleges only accept the best and turn away anyone that doesn't meet the academic requirements, which causes students to work hard to get into their best school. Here's a table showing the acceptance rates and average test scores. As you can see, 42,000 people applied for Stanford University, an extremely competitive school. Many people work hard to be able to get into these competitive universities. Colleges that are more competitive have higher test scores.
Objection, Your Honor. You are cherry-picking the data. The University of Chicago has a higher acceptance rate than Stanford and a higher GPA, average GPA, at 4.23.
Nevertheless, these are all very competitive schools out of thousands of colleges across the nation. A small variation in test scores or percentages is not the point. The point is all these competitive schools have very high test scores and applicants. This competitive environment increases performance.
The prosecution may now cross-examine the evidence.
Your Honor, does this data truly show that competition increases performance? Yes, it's true that these schools are very competitive and only accept the highest of test scores. But is that a good thing? The average test scores are not from the college, but the scores required to get into the college. This data says nothing about the performance of students attending the college. This is also only showing data for 9 universities, 9 out of the thousands of colleges in America. We don't have any non-competitive colleges data to compare the test scores to, so we cannot tell if there really is a significant increase in competitive colleges. Along with the lack of data for a wider range of colleges, there is also no data showing if these competitive colleges are actually a good thing. Yes, it might drive students to get into higher grades, but what about the stress levels of the students? What about the tuition to these competitive academics? What about the amount of jobs offered to graduates of these colleges? This data is severely lacking in many aspects and does not prove that competition at the academic level is a good thing. Not only is the data lacking, so is the source. This article is written by Samantha Lindsay and the website is blog.prepscholar.com. This is not an unbiased report, but an internet blog post. On the source, there are several links encouraging readers to sign up and buy the best guides to take standardized tests. This shows that the source is biased and trying to get readers to buy their products through their articles, not present facts. Cross-examination finished, Your Honor.
Order. Neither the evidence provided by the defense or by the prosecution has stood up against cross-examination. Both sources failed to prove the argument or make a case for the students of high school. Competition is an issue that everyone deals with at one point. There are many types of competition, non-physical and physical, and it's hard to generalize if they're good or bad because of studies only showing one part of competition. There's evidence on both sides of this argument, but the members of this courtroom have failed to make a case either way. I'm throwing this case out until the members of this courtroom learn how to research. Case dismissed.